I'm Tad Flakey.
I'm Lilibet Flakey.
And this is Pointless Global News. On today's show, the Pentagon declares that reporters are not allowed to walk down the hallways without a grown-up.
Then I'll tell you what the brand name Spam really means.
Next, a Florida man is suing after being bit by a Florida alligator. That story and a truly gross fashion trend are coming later, but first. The United States military can put a 2,000-pound bomb through a chosen window in another hemisphere. It runs submarines built to vanish for months at a time. It has a constellation of satellites capable of reading license plates from orbit. It fields 11 aircraft carriers and something on the order of 5,000 nuclear warheads. But this week, it announced that there's one threat it cannot manage, and that's a reporter walking down the hallway without a grown-up. Effective Monday, the Pentagon press office is a classified space. Per the designation, the office responsible for releasing information to the public is now prohibited from releasing information to the public. Journalists seeking comment may no longer enter the room where comment is provided. The room remains staffed for some reason, I guess. The campaign started last September when Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth circulated a pledge for the reporters to sign. He asked them to promise not to collect any information that the Pentagon had not approved for release. The fine print, not just classified information, all information. A reporter who learned of the unauthorized fact by accident, by overhearing it in an elevator or through the simple misfortune of having misfunctioning ears or functioning ears, well, they would be in breach. Around 30 news organizations, including Fox News and Newsmax, declined to sign and were asked to hand back their press credentials. In March, a federal judge ruled that the pledge was unconstitutional. The Pentagon executed a tactical withdrawal to a new policy, relocate the press to a forward annex, and assign each reporter a security escort. It is the way you would handle a prisoner transfer or a visiting head of state, except the asset under guard is a man trying to reach the vending machine down the hall. By May, the perimeter had expanded to the whole building. Officials describe all this as a security measure. To date, no foreign adversary has breached the Pentagon by lanyard. The Pentagon has identified the written-down fact as its deadliest enemy. A military that can flatten a city block from orbit has decided that it cannot withstand a follow-up question.
Well, I think the deadliest adversary is Pete Hegseth and the president.
Yes.
And they're just finding ways to spend money unnecessarily, having people escorted. It's just as ridiculous as everything else they're doing.
Exactly. And really, if you don't already know what's going on there, you obviously have been under a rock ever since Trump took office, because this has been going on for a while. But I digress. Go ahead with the next story.
Spam became an essential staple in American soldiers' rations during the Second World War, and today it's available in 48 nations worldwide. Spam was developed by Hormel Foods Corporation in 1937 to boost sales of pork shoulder, an unpopular cut at the time. Ken Dagno, whose brother was a Hormel Foods vice president, started a competition along with $100 for coming up with the Spam brand name. But people have been puzzled over what the acronym really means ever since. On Reddit, one baffled user posted, "What does the acronym SPAM meat mean to you?" One user guessed shoulder pork and meat, while someone else chimed in, spare parts of animal meat. At least that's what us kids called it. A third person suggested salted pork aggregated meat. However, according to the brand itself, SPAM isn't actually an acronym, but rather a portmanteau, a word created by blending two or more words together, similar to how brother and romance combine to form bromance. The brand's official statement explains, there are some questions that continually plague man over time. Questions like, is there intelligent life beyond Earth? And what is the meaning of SPAM brand name? Unfortunately, we can provide answers to neither. The significance of the Spam brand name has long been a subject of speculation. One popular belief says it's derived from the words spiced ham. The real answer is known by only a small circle of former Hormel food executives. Another Reddit user added, spiced ham. Originally, that's what it's called, but people came up with dumb names for it, especially preserved army meat and American meat. Putting an end to another myth, Spam shared the ingredients that go into making its distinctive tinned pork product. The age-old question, what is the meat in that special can of Spam Classic? Many myths abound, but the answer is actually quite simple. 6 simple ingredients: pork with ham, salt, water, potato starch, sugar, and sodium nitrate. Well, I have a lot to say about Spam.
I bet.
First of all, Tad, do you remember when you decided we should try Spam? You remember that?
Yeah.
Been a couple of years.
Yeah.
So we go to the store, we find some cans of Spam. They have the regular Spam and they have the low sodium Spam. They have maple flavored Spam. There are a lot of different flavors of Spam. And I think we got the original Spam. It was the worst thing I've ever tasted in a can. They had so much salt in it, it was almost inedible to me. And I understand that it's a classic and a staple in Hawaii, but I don't know how anybody can eat Spam on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I could just feel my blood pressure going up.
Yeah, some people love it. I guess it's all in the taste buds, but I've never been a huge fan of it. I mean, I've tried it a few times. It's okay.
Just too salty. But I did humor you that one time, and we did eat some Spam, and it has never come into the house again since then.
And we'll keep it that way.
Thank you.
Yes. Finally, buy the ticket, take the ride, Hunter S. Thompson once said. However, he wrote that about Las Vegas and was speaking in metaphor, likely about drugs, while under the influence of drugs. A Florida man bought a ticket to take an airboat ride in Christmas. That's a town in Florida. This actually happened last June. And during the alligator encounter part of the experience, he got to experience an alligator up close. Too up close, however, as he's now suing after being bitten in the face by one. The plaintiff, Idil Kazanoff, should really have no excuse as he's a Florida resident. We're pretty sure that upon moving to Florida, you're given 2 rules. The first is there are no rules whatsoever, and the second is, but you maybe don't want to approach an alligator. You know, they do get a little bit bitey. Airboat rides at Midway, the defendant, doesn't seem to mind gators, however, as they're listed among the attractions of their business. Their website states that the gator's favorite thing to do is to pose for pictures with guests. Kazanoff is suing for negligence, with the suit stating that there were no warnings, signs, or other devices to warn or indicate the vicious nature of the subject alligator. And while the suit says he suffered disfigurement, mental anguish, and loss of capacity for the enjoyment of life, among other things, he couldn't have been that badly injured. The suit is only seeking $50,000. Also, the suit was filed only a few weeks ago, probably because it's coming up on a year since it happened. I don't know why he's suing, said Hollywood the alligator when contacted for comment. Have you seen the guy? He just has one of those biteable faces. Also, we're alligators. We bite things. That's what we do. And if I'm being honest, I was a little scared for myself since he was wearing a pair of Crocs, and I know we're not the same because their snouts are shaped differently, but I had to show him who's boss. Meanwhile, Airboat continues to offer gators as part of their experience, but the pics on their site show that the animals have had their mouths restrained, like a muzzle. Did they always do this, or did they just start muzzling them once Kazanoff got his non-consensual alligator encounter? Hollywood isn't saying, mainly because he can't open his mouth. And if you thought that story was pointlessly stupid enough, well, this one might push you to have a stiff drink. One Australian designer is taking ratty clothing to a new level. Rat Oddity Gizzard, known for using taxidermied rats to make unusual creations, recently released a line of clothing they're calling Lingerat, pronounced like lingerie. Unfortunately, it's exactly as it sounds. taxidermied rats sewn into underwear. While the garments aren't meant to be worn, Rat Oddity Gizzard's Instagram audience begs to differ, with followers claiming to want to surprise their partners. The lingerie sells for $137 a piece, and yes, they do offer international shipping. I already know what I'm going to buy you for Christmas a little bit.
And then you know that you'll be spending Christmas outside of our home, right?
In the cold, yes.
In the cold.
It's very cold.
Maybe out there snuggling with some rats.
Exactly.
So I have to say something about the alligator story.
Yeah.
What did he think would happen if you put your face in an alligator's face? This wasn't advertised as a kitten snuggle or a puppy snuggle. They're alligators.
Yes. It's just an act of pure stupidity, you know?
Come on. I know.
Anyway, that's going to be a wrap for another Pointlessly Global News. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Tad Flaky.
I'm Lilibet Flaky.
Stay pointless, my friend.